Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today I bring you guys loot from 3,000 Revenant Orks. And I have to say, this was a lot of fun to record and grind out these last few weeks. The reason the video is so long is because, as you all know, the Revenant Caves is truly the biggest hotspot for PKing even after all of these years. And most of the footage that I gathered was due to all of the fights that I encountered while killing these 3,000 Revenant Orks. So I hope you all enjoy the video as much as I enjoyed making it, and all of the anti-PKing that goes along with it. As you can see, we are already off to an amazing start, getting a massive 40 mil PK from the one and only Elvin. And this was at the very start of the video, so you can only imagine how excited and more motivated I was after getting that PK. But before we continue with this exciting grind, I do want to give a big shout out to Ironside PC. I recently re-signed with Ironside for my 5th year in a row, and I wanted to take this time and tell you guys what they're all about and what you can expect from their website. So on their website, you can find everything that you need to get your dream computer purchased or even built from scratch, with many different themes and even limited edition quantity builds. These computers will truly last you a lifetime, and you can even pick your parts to forge your PC just the exact way you want it. And if you're more of a gaming on the go kind of person, they even sell laptops, which are truly the best quality around, ranging from different prices to suit your budget. And if you use the link in the description below, you will save 5% off anything and everything for your future order. As most of you know, I did used to have a discount code, but now it is just a simple link that you can click with the same discount implemented. Great design and functionality, as well as being sponsored by them for 5 years now. There's not any other computer place that I would go with, so feel free to check them out using that link in the description below. And I'll also throw in a link to their YouTube channel if you want the latest updates on what they have to offer. I just want to say again a huge thank you to Ironside for the last 5 years, and an even bigger thank you to you guys for giving me the consistent support to continue to make this happen. So big thank you to them, and a big thanks to you guys. So here we are back at the Revenant Caves once again, this time killing 3,000 Orks, with the goal being to run into PKers and not run away from them, as well as make a consistent 2 to 3 mil an hour just by farming the revs themselves. And speaking of farming, I've never seen such a big bot farm that I experienced throughout my time here the last couple weeks. The level of these bots, or gold farmers, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell the difference, usually hover around level 70 to level 90. However, there were times that I saw plenty of level 100s and above, and as well as some level 50s and 60s using very similar setups. And I noticed that whenever a PKer did show up, these bots would just sometimes teleport instantly, other times they would try to survive and escape, and some seemed to pull it off very easily, others not so much. But this video honestly has nothing to do with bots or gold farmers. I just thought it was important to mention at the very start that there is a lot of them here due to the fact that most worlds contain at least 1, sometimes 2 or 3 bots. So if you watch this video and you decide to kill the Revenant Orks in 27 Wilderness like I did, just be ready to hop worlds a lot, because I don't see these bots being banned anytime soon. And you can also find more Revenant Orks south of this spot around 24 Wilderness. I noticed more normal players around that area than I do compared to the spot that I used. The spot at 27 Wilderness worked for me because a lot of high level PKers log in from the south and they attack me, and since I pray magic the whole time while I'm killing these revs, if I was to get tele blocked, which happens most of the time when a PKer engages, it'll only be a half TB due to the fact that I'm praying magic. So keeping that pray mage on 24/7 gives me 2 minutes and 30 seconds to try my very best to get the kill, or if I know there's no way that I can kill the person, then 2 minutes and 30 seconds is just enough time to use up all of my food, all of my Ceridome and brews, and 9 out of 10 times I would say I survive. However, if I wasn't praying magic and I got hit with a 5-minute tele block, there's almost no way I can survive throughout that whole time. But you definitely don't have to be praying magic here. The revs won't hit that hard, but I just find it easier, and since I bring so many blighted super restores as well as having 99 prayer, it just works out much better for me to pray mage the whole time versus not praying it at all. Along with praying magic, I always have protect item on, and the few times I decided to turn it off to save a couple prayer points while I was PVMing, I never remember to turn it back on when I get attacked, and that'll quickly cost me a Berserker Ring imbued or a Carol's Top. So I definitely keep that on 24/7, as well as Rigor to maximize my DPS, hitting constant, smooth, smooth 42s being potted with this nice range bonus as well makes killing these revs so much quicker and so much smoother than normal. And if you're not a big fan of spending over 30 mil on a crossbow because it is going up in price to this day still, you can also go with a Vigor's chain mace with a melee setup. And although you will be running more, you still get quick kills and pretty good profit every single hour. I made it a point in this video to kill as many rev bosses as I could while I was killing these 3000 Revenant Orks, and due to the insane bot population, I was hopping worlds so much that I was always running into boss spawn worlds, so I'll make sure that any money that I make from the boss, I will add it to the price check at the end, and we'll see how much that comes out to alongside the loot from the 3000 Rev Orks. While killing these Orks, I would usually bank whenever my looting bag would be 100% full, seeing as it would be valued at usually 500 to 700k every single time, and you definitely don't want to be losing that to a PKer. Maximizing my kills per trip was pretty easy due to the fact that all of the revs in the rev caves drop unnoted anglerfish and karambwans, as well as blighted super restores. And since I was not scolded for most of this video, I would not bring an amulet of avarice. It just wasn't necessary, and this was mainly because I was already risking 3.5 to 5.5 mil unscold, depending on the setup that I was using at the time. So if I was to skull up, my risk would instantly be times 10 of what I would usually be risking, or more, since I would sometimes bring Dragon Claws, other times I would bring Armadyl Godsword, Blood Fury, Berserker Ring. It would really just be dependent on how much I was dying that day, and speaking of deaths, I made sure to compile every single time that I died here. However, instead of showing it throughout the whole video, I decided to make it one big compilation for the very end of the video after the price check this time. Fighting dozens of people throughout the last few weeks, I definitely had my fair share of deaths, that's for sure. One thing that I really wanted to see as a drop from these Revenant Orks during this video would be the crossbow or the scepter, which are the two rares that I'm still missing from my Revenant collection log. Even after all these years and 65,000 revs later, I have still yet to get those two items, so I guess I just gotta keep coming back, gives me a reason to anyway. Strangely enough though, the other rare that you can get is the Vigor's chain mace, and I did get that on the very first day that they released revs into the game. I'll never forget it. There was a J mod there kind of watching everyone, and it was a very good day. I think I did like a 24-hour stream that day many years ago, and I sold that thing for over 280 mil. Nowadays it's definitely not worth as much, but I was still able to get two in the same night back a few months ago during a 50-hour Revenant live stream. So yeah, it seems to be pretty good luck with the Vigor's chain mace, but I can't seem to get the crossbow or the scepter. So as it goes for these 3,000 kills, I would say about 2,500 of these kills I did on Twitch. I did live stream all of them, well, almost all of them. About 500 kills were done off stream. I do prefer to stream the revs because when I do that, I bring a lot of attention to myself and to any PKer who may be watching, and that causes me to get multiple fights every single hour. You're wondering why sometimes in my chat box I have my world typed out. That is really just to encourage people to find me quicker, and that way they don't have to like hunt down every single world for me. And this way I get a lot more PKing footage than I normally would. A lot of people try their best to avoid PKers at all costs, but I feel like I'm the complete opposite. Usually I know in the first 20 seconds of the fight if I can kill the person or not, and if not, I'll just try my best to survive, and at the end of the day, every fight I have is more practice for the future. So, by any means, I am not a good PKer, but I really do enjoy it. I think that's a huge reason why I enjoy RuneScape so much even after playing for 16 years. I've never played any other game, and anti-PKing is just a whole different feel compared to normal PKing. Anti-PKing usually means you're unscolded, you're PVMing, and if a PKer shows up, then you're going to try your best to fight back instead of run or teleport. And PKing is more along the lines of when you're sculling and you're just focused on PKing other players. No PVMing is usually involved in any of that. During this video, as you have seen quite a few times by now, I was fighting pretty much anyone who attacked me. Sometimes it would be the same person, and if you stay in these rev caves long enough, you will start to remember usernames. But other times it would be brand new minimal risk PKers, and I had no problem fighting them too. It was just kind of unfortunate that sometimes I'd be risking 4 to 5 mil on death every single time, and my opponent would have like a 300k risk with the same odds to kill me, because it only takes one big Armadyl Godsword spec or one expected claw rush to kill me instantly. And that is one pretty big downside of anti-PKing with a set of DH. The key with DH is that if you keep your HP low, you hit much higher on your opponent, but being a level 126, you're always fighting people that can hit insanely high and consistently high at that, so it really is a risk to bring DH here, but the upside is whenever I do get a kill with a high axe hit, there is really no feeling like it, you know, seeing a 70, 80, 90 with this setup, it's just truly incredible. So all of the loot keys that I opened during this video were tracked by RuneLite, so I'll make sure to add up all of the keys for the price check at the very end of the video, and hopefully even with all of my deaths, we will still make a big profit from these 3,000 Revenant Orks. Now, as it goes for the total level worlds, I only ventured into the 2K worlds a few times, but every time I did, there was people that bolted me right away, which basically means they're telling me to get out of their world. It's nothing like it was a few years ago where the clan sold rev protection for a price and you would have your own security guards while you killed revs, you know, depending on the clan that ran it. But the fact that you can't PJ anyone anymore and the fact that revs are not multi anymore basically just kind of killed off that business for the most part. But I still found it pretty difficult to kill revs in 2K or 2200 worlds for a long amount of time, so I just stuck with normal worlds and I dealt with the bot population, but you get used to that after a while. Some people that I really didn't enjoy fighting would be anyone who was rocking the crystal armor setup. Those people I can almost never kill. I think I've only ever killed one person, and that still is my biggest PK to this date. Hopefully you guys saw that video a couple months back. It was a 99mm PK, but other than that one time, every other time I've either died or I've had to escape from them. So there are setups that you can, you know, encounter here in the wilderness that are just so hard to kill. Even for the talented PKers, you know, just the DPS that they're throwing off and the damage that they're absorbing makes it next to impossible. So I tried to pick and choose my fights wisely, but at the end of the day, I was really just out here to have as much fun as possible and try to make money, of course, too. But yeah, I just enjoyed any fight because I feel like any fight at the end of the day is just more practice, as I mentioned before. I tried my best not to skull throughout this whole video, but there would be occasions when I would be killing the rev boss and killing revs, and there'd be a similar person to me or someone risking a little bit less PVMing, and they'd be such low HP to the fact where I just hit them once they would die. So there was a couple occasions where I did skull, but I never recommend skulling, especially if you're using a setup that I was, you know, because it's just a very bad idea. Usually there's a lot of bad things that can happen if you skull. Now getting back to the Revenants, because I've just talk so much about PKing, but honestly that's, you know, that's really what this cave is all about. But as it goes for the Revenant Orks, some drops that I got that were pretty rare would definitely be the magic seeds, the U seeds, the dragon plate skirts, the dragon plate legs, and occasionally a statue or two. But what you really want to see here is that ancient relic or that crossbow drop. Obviously if you are skulled, you have much better odds in getting that, but most of my rares that I have received were all unskulled, so you don't have to be skulled to make really good money here. That is a myth. If anything, you're going to be risking more if you're skulled and you're not trying to PK anyone at all than you would be if you wouldn't be skulled. So you got to be careful if you're deciding to skull up, especially if you have a crossbow. Always have that +1 protect item on. Well, this just in. Apparently there was an update today regarding bots at the Rev Caves. Now it only takes a few seconds for teleports to be activated while in combat with a Rev instead of, you know, being able to teleport right away, which is going to make it excellent for all the PKers to kill any bot or gold farmer now, due to the fact that they can't teleport instantly. You know, it was rumored that they were using cheat clients to teleport in a way that not even a normal player could manage. So I can really only imagine the comments now pouring in about this, since I mentioned that this was a big problem at the start of the video. And I guess that's what happens when a voiceover takes 2 days for me instead of 1, because just in the last 24 hours that change was implemented. So disregard anything I said before regarding the bots teleporting quickly. As someone who's been in the Rev Cave since release up until now, who knows if this will actually be helpful, but it is definitely a good start, and I'm really curious to see if the bot population dies down now compared to what it was 24 hours ago here, because the reality is these bots never died, and they were probably making consistent 1 mil minimum hours, maybe 3 mil if they got lucky with the statues, so I can't imagine how much gold they were bringing into the game. As you can see throughout this video, the loot chests that I've been opening really do vary when it comes to the amounts that they are worth. Most keys I obtained were around 2 to 6 mil, but there would be rare occasions where I killed max voiders or max majors and hit the jackpot, and that would be anywhere from 20 to 40 mil a key. I think this happened probably around 4 times just in this video alone, and I can credit my DH axe and of course lucky timing on my part to that. And since we are very far into the video now, I really appreciate you guys watching these long videos. I know some people prefer them over the 10-minute ones. Some people prefer live commentary. Just very hard to do live commentary when I'm live streaming and I have really loud music going on in the background. I'm so focused on a fight and my clicks are so out of control. So I will work on that for future videos, but I just could not manage it in this one. I will say though, even though no deaths have been shown yet, I did die quite a bit. You know, some days I would start around 9 a.m. and by 10 a.m. I would have died 3 times in a row, resulting in a 15 mil loss. So the famous saying goes, some days are better than others, and that could not be more true than at the Revenant caves. I did have a lot of fun though fighting different setups. I even tried a few out myself after I finished this video, which you all might see in a future upload as like filler footage, featuring the dragon crossbow, volatile staff, and many other weapons. There was quite a few close calls with some big risk PKers where I had the chance to kill them, but I just couldn't hit quite high enough, and that is always so frustrating, but that's just really PKing for you. You get used to it after a while. A lot of skill and a lot of luck always involved in these fights. I really do hope you guys are enjoying the content though. I know I've done a lot of Revenant related videos in the last few months, but I really do see it dying down soon here, and with the anticipated release of Raids 3, as well as some other ideas that I have, just know that much more videos will be coming out soon, one of them being loot from one of every boss, which I'm currently, as I voice over this, I'm actually in Nightmare Zone right now trying to imbue my Berserker ring again for that video, and my Archer rings, you know, a couple hours to go still. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, so I hope you guys are as well. But back to the Revenant Orks, I did receive 3 different ancient emblems from these Orks unskulled throughout these 3,000 kills, but unfortunately no Cross or Scepter this time around. Adding another 3,000 Rev KC to my overall now, bringing it to 69,000 Revs killed, which is just so many, but not as many as other people, believe it or not. I really do hope to see those drops in the future, the Scepter and the Cross, and I'll more likely be killing the Rev Dragon next for 3,000 to 5,000 kills, and I might even do it all skulled so my odds go up rather than down. You can probably expect that video within the next couple weeks, but I do want to focus on a little bit of PVMing before I head back to the caves. Overall though, for this 3,000 Revenant Ork video, I would say for med levels and high levels, the Revenant Ork is definitely the most simple Rev to kill for good and easy profit. The dragon you tend to take a little bit longer to kill, and it's gonna definitely damage you a little bit more, and also the fact that it's more north in the wilderness, the odds of tanking PKers goes down. It's very well known that most of the max crystal PKers instead of the Arims PKers PK there. So I always prefer to kill the Orks because you tend to find people that are lower level, not as experienced and not risking as much, but they're definitely, you know, you have better odds of killing them at the Orks rather than the dragon. There's also a spawn of 2 demons and 2 cyclops a little west from where I was at, and although I've never killed them much, I imagine that could be good profit too if you find a world for yourself. And one thing I didn't mention was how much money I was spending on looting bag scrolls. This is where you just go to the Grand Exchange and you buy a looting bag directly from there, and then you can open it up and you're ready to go. This is also something you don't need to be purchasing because a looting bag can be dropped from the revs pretty quickly, especially the higher level ones, so keep that in mind too. I wasn't really taking into account how much money I was spending on restores or ether, because you will always get ether back into your bracelet just by killing the revs as long as you don't die. And then after a while you can always take that ether out of your bracelet and put it back into your Revenant weapon, whether it be a Vigor's chain mace or a Cross bow. That's a smart way of saving money on supply costs, and most of the time you really only need like 20 to 30 ether in your bracelet, and it'll just stack up to the thousands if you let it to. As it goes for the blighted super restores, they are commonly dropped here, so you should get those back too. One thing I didn't try out was divine bastion potions. It probably would have been smarter to bring here since it would keep my range to 112 the whole time. I found that normal bastions worked for me just for the anti-PKing, so that's why I preferred those over the divine ones. And I already touched on why I wasn't wearing the Avarice amulet, but the same goes for the Salve amulet. I just really stuck with a glory this whole time, and since I was 99 range, my DPS was just fine. I was having no trouble killing these revs at all, so don't go overboard on your gear or your weapons or anything like that. I think the only thing that would have been beneficial to bring is probably an archer ring imbued if I was really just focused on killing the revs. But again, most of my anti-PKs come from the Armadyl Godsword or the DH Axe, so Berserker ring imbued is always the way to go for me. However, I did get a nice 26mm PK with the Ballista, so I gotta give it some credit. That thing hits 51s and 61s like it's no tomorrow, so always good to bring that. And I did end up killing well over 10 bosses during the making of this video, so that's pretty much a guaranteed 10 mil with all of the emblems and all of the ancient items that I was able to receive from it. A lot of the times I would get attacked at the boss, and I'd be kind of upset because a lot of the times people are really focused on that boss and they just want to kill it. And you know, I don't know why I'm even saying this because I kill people at the boss too. Yeah, that can be very frustrating. So I always try to be a nice guy in the wilderness, say good fight and whatnot, but sometimes you might see a little attitude from me, and that's just really at the rev boss. If I get like 1 hit or 2 hit, that can be so annoying. But like I said before, you get used to these things at the rev cave, so it is what it is. Overall though, I was getting tons of dragon items, a ton of rune items, a lot of seeds, and just the overall price check I'm really looking forward to seeing. We are getting there soon enough, don't you worry. About to segue into the deaths right after that, so that should be interesting. And again, had I not had so many close calls during this video, I no doubt about it could have gotten 100mm PK once or twice. I just didn't have the RNG that I needed at that time, so it happens, but I really wish that there wasn't so many close calls with the DH. I don't really see Revenants dying down as it goes for the amount of PKers anytime soon, and this is mainly because the fact that it's one of the places in the wilderness where it's not multi. The other two hotspots that I can think of for PKing would definitely be the Wilderness Slayer Caves as well as Lava Dragons, but after checking those places out recently, I was always going up against teams, and that's one thing you'll never have a problem with in the rev caves is teams and clans. So for those of you who have watched this far into the video, let me know your thoughts on the current rev caves at this point in time. How do you feel about the bots, the update, the PKers, the single combat, the drops? Let me know in the comments section below. I don't respond to many comments, but I always read them, so I am curious of your guys' thoughts, as well as if you've had a very bad luck streak here with drops or deaths or very good luck. Let me know below. Now, something that does occur here occasionally is once a PKer attacks someone, they might get lured outside the cave into multi-combat. And this actually happened to me once right after this video, but it was me who had someone on me, and then I ran to multi, and another PKer showed up to help me. It sounds good and all, but sadly the guy ended up killing both of us pretty much in the same tick. So for those of you who saw that on stream, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, it is important to note to be very careful not to run into multi, as it is pretty close to the southern cave entrance, right north of Bandit Camp. And some other random things that happened during this video would be people attacking me and then realizing it's me, and instantly they would stop and log out or just decide not to fight. You know, they're just being nice and all. But ironically, this kind of sucked because I wanted as many fights as possible. So future reference, if any PKers are watching, feel free to attack me. You know, you won't be offending me, and you will most likely end up in a video, so it's a win-win. Looking at the overall calculations and all of the deaths and the loot during this video, I just now added up all of the deaths that I had during this 3000 journey and all of the keys. So once we get to selling the loot, I will throw those screenshots on screen. I have all of the numbers here. It is 100% accurate, and we will know just how much I lost and just how much I gained throughout this 3000 Revenant Orc journey. As I've said before, it was a ton of fun. I just regret taking so long to finish this video. I know that I've been slacking on the upload schedule, but this was a long grind to do, and it's probably one of my longest videos that I've done in a long time. The amount of times I repeat myself during this voiceover. But especially using Camtasia 10, which is the slowest possible editing software in the world. You know, that kind of delays things a little bit, but yeah, I spent $200 on it a few years ago, and I just kind of stuck with it. I just do get the question how my stream content doesn't show my face on YouTube, and that is just because I record with a different software than I stream with. Plus, I don't think you guys would need to see my face on screen on these videos. Last time that happened, I was called a jungle creature, so You know, just save that for Twitch. Overall, though, we do have the loot from 3000 Revenant Orks completed. Long journey. Finally, we are here, and as you can see on screen there, as I fast forward to sell all these items, we have it on screen, 65.7 mil from the Orks. Then transitioning into the boss loot, we have 19 kills from that. That would be another 15.5 mil from the boss, meaning that we made 81.2 mil from the PVMing in this video, which is not too bad at all. Still over 2.5 to 3 mil an hour. Now, had I gotten a relic or a cross, that would have been well over 100 mil, but there's always next time for that. And as it goes for the PKs and the loot keys, I killed a total of 32 people during these 3000 kills, and overall I made 165 mil total from all of those PKs. The amount of times I died resulted in about 27 deaths, and I lost 108 mil just in those deaths. That is the downside of bringing a DH set every single time to the Rev Caves, but as long as I profited, that is all that truly matters. With the overall profit from the Orks and the boss and the PKs, we are looking at over 138 mil total made during the course of this video, and that is all profit. Supply costs were minimal, and so I didn't really factor in those much, but I hope you guys are enjoying me dying all of these 27 times here. You know, it's sad, but the very next day after I finished this journey, I went back to the Rev Caves and I died like 8 times in a row. So sometimes I'm just luckier than other times. Sometimes I'm better at clicking than other times, but I think it's definitely time to take a break from the Rev Caves because I've probably lost a lot of the profit that I've made. And it's kind of a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler because I don't know if I'm ever going to show this on YouTube, but I did decide to skull up with my crossbow a couple days after I finished this, and of course I lost it. So that is my 3rd crossbow that I've lost in the last 6 months. So, you know, just don't skull, just don't do it. It's never worth it. But to conclude, I want to give a big shout out to all the PKers that made this video possible, that made this video 28 minutes long. Thank you guys for helping keep the wilderness alive. Even if you are excellent at PKing and you killed me, that's okay. It was still a lot of fun. I would like to think that these Rev videos help people, maybe motivate people to go try out the Rev Caves, and I've heard it many times on my stream that people watch these videos and they check it out for themselves, and now they're an anti-PKer, and it's one of the funnest things in the game for them. So that is the exact reason why I do this, because I feel the exact same way. It's truly the most enjoyable thing on game for me, and being a max player for 5 years now, having over a bill XP and a lot of PVMing accomplishments, not all of them, I still got to do a lot of PVMing stuff, but yeah, despite all of that, I would say that the Rev Caves has been a source of the greatest entertainment for me since it's come out into the game. Even back in 2011, that's all I ever did when I was a kid was kill Revs and PK, so some things never change, I guess. But anyways, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. Check out that Ironside link if you need a new computer, 5% off with that link. I hope it helps someone out there, and you won't regret it. It's a great thing to use, and it's huge for RuneScape as well. It'll make your gameplay crystal clean. But until next time, guys, thank you so much. Mr. No Sleep, out.